Hey guys, before we get started, we partnered with EasyRx Drug Card to help save you money under prescription medications here in the US. It's free, there's no club to join, just bring the prescription discount card with you the next time you're filling your prescription to see if it can save you some cash. If it does, great. If not, throw it away. There's a link in our show notes where you can download, text, or print your prescription discount card. Give it a shot.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Crime and Coffee Couple. My name's Allison.
And my name's Mike.
Hello, Mike.
Hey, baby girl. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm glad you're home.
I'm glad I'm home, too. That's
Just got
weird
back.
for you to say. Oh, yeah, I did just get back. Okay.
From a little business trip.
Yeah, I was in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yep.
That we actually had a story or two in Knoxville. And things were okay out there, just fine. Just glad to be back. Pretty much spent all day traveling, it feels like. Had a couple of layovers and such, but back in the saddle and ready to go. All the way to Chicago this weekend.
Tomorrow morning.
Yes, because I'm going to go see the Chicago Bears play the Houston Texans with our son. It'll be his first time in Soldier Field, so that'll be awesome. And going to go with his uncle and his grandpa, who are my brother and dad. So it's going to be awesome. We're very excited. Can't wait. It's going to be a quick trip. In and out. In and out.
Very early morning flights.
Oh, yeah. Like we're talking 6 a.m., 5 a.m. type stuff.
Yep.
So it's going to be tough. I mean, I just told Cam, I'm like, you're going to be waking up like earlier than you ever have in your life the next 3 days. He's like, no, I've woken up at like 2 or 3 for like another flight. I'm like, okay, well.
Sure you have, pal.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty early.
But that I feel like I haven't seen you because I was on a girls' trip last week. So basically, as I came home, you left.
Yeah, we've got a lot of catching up to do.
I've been in recovery mode all week because I'm 43 years old and apparently I can't hang with the girls anymore.
No, you're too old for that shit.
I'm not meant to be drinking excessive amounts of wine and champagne because it don't play well in my system.
Yeah, that's
my anxiety was through the roof. I was just ugh.
Thank God I wasn't here then. Jeez.
You had to like talk me off like a wall one morning from like North Carolina where I was. I'm like, I'm so anxious.
Now, did you actually cry at all?
No, I was this close to bursting into tears Monday morning just because I was super anxious about, the trip's coming to an end. I'm hungover. I feel gross, blah, 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 blah. Then my anxiety was high even at home. I just found out you were leaving because my husband, Mike Pernecki here.
That's me.
He's a son of a bitch and he doesn't communicate his travel plans with his wife.
You calling my mother a bitch?
I said, yeah, apparently I am, but
okay.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
It's just you.
Yeah,
You're
that's called
bitch.
deflection. That's deflection.
So I find out Tuesday morning, he's like, oh yeah, I'm going away for the next 3 days. I'm like, excuse me, what?
Do I even sound like that?
Yeah, in my head, that's how you sound.
For a couple days.
I'm like, hello, we have a family. I work full time.
I'm like, yeah, you got it. Don't worry.
This happens like pretty much every time he travels. He's like, well, by the way, I'm leaving. And then I'm scrambling with neighbors to get the kids to school.
And you're welcome, because otherwise you would just stress about it for weeks and weeks and be like, oh no, I'm not sure what I'm going to do when you're gone next week.
I mean, it's
God.
amazing to me how you have survived this long.
Yeah, well, I've been doing a pretty damn good job if I say so myself.
I just saw an article or a video about a woman who is accused of poisoning her husband. He didn't die, but I guess he was getting sick. He was getting like stomach issues, ulcers, whatever.
Yeah.
And it turned out there were still shots of her like pouring Drano into a cup on the kitchen table.
Did she take the pictures or?
No. So apparently he set up a camera for surveillance and whether or not, so her defense is saying that they just caught her pouring it into a cup because she was going to reduce splashing by pouring it into the cup and then pouring it down the drain.
Sure, makes sense.
So it'll all be telling once you see the full video.
Yeah.
Like if you see her pour it in and then apparently it was in his lemonade.
Right.
So you're lucky that I haven't done that.
Or maybe it's a blessing if it happens. So, yeah, I mean, we're all
Put you out of your misery.
We're all going to die someday.
That's
right?
true. That's true.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to be back in my routine. It just turns out I'm a real homebody, and I've been gone every single weekend of September except for one.
Yeah, you have that shirt that says like I like true crime and something else, and
it says true crime, glass of wine, bed by 9.
Well, no, there's the one where it says like I might like 2 people or something like that.
Oh, I don't know
What's
about
that.
Yeah, I don't think I have a shirt that says that.
I thought so.
No,
Okay.
definitely not. But the one says that I got for my birthday, I'm like, it's more like true crime, no wine, bed by 8.
Right.
That's pretty much my best life.
Like, what did Savannah say on the Today Show the other day? She was like, what, people are going out at 8 o'clock? What, are you going to a rave?
Exactly. Who's having dinner at 8 o'clock at night?
Yeah. Well, all you young kids listening to this who are like going out at 8 o'clock,
No.
enjoy yourselves.
Not me.
Enjoy yourselves. More power
Not
to
me.
you. Yeah. Well, we just want to say, hey, thank you so much for reviewing us. If you enjoy these episodes, if you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or even Amazon Audible. We've gotten like a ton of reviews from Audible, and they've been fantastic. I just want to read one here from Rebecca. She said, great couple who tell a great story. Love the banter about your lives as well. Mike, I cannot handle another heartbreaking story that makes you choke up. Already bawling from the details, and hearing a man choked up just tips me over the edge. Also can't stop listening either. I don't typically write reviews, but you two are just awesome.
Very nice. You always send me the screenshots of them, and as I brush my teeth at 4 o'clock in the morning, wanting to jump off the edge of a cliff, it puts me back on the right side of the cliff.
It really, really does help give us a better sense.
Boost.
And, know that there's people out there that get something out of what we're doing. So thank you.
Exactly. We so very much appreciate it.
Yeah, and there was that one prick that said, stop being fake. And I promise you, I'm never fake in this whole show, ever. Unless I'm like being sarcastic or something. Like I've never, ever once been fake. And I never will be fake because it takes too much planning and stuff. I'm not a planner. I just do stuff.
Yeah, you're definitely not a planner. And side note, that one person had left a review saying that we act like we're perfect parents. Well, I'm missing my son's 14th birthday because it's tomorrow. First time ever that I haven't been with him on his birthday.
Hey, at least you got him a birthday cake today.
Yeah, so that's just the thing.
The day before his birthday.
I forgot to get him the cake.
So, and let's tell the folks at home what they're listening. You said, okay, Mike, when you're with Cameron, you want to make sure you get him a cake his day of his birthday. And I'm like, Allison, I'm his father. Like, I know. Don't worry. He's going to have a great birthday. And so I come home today, the day before his birthday, and I was like, so did you get a cake for him? And she's like,
Ew. We had a whole birthday meal planned for him. Like he loves steak and potatoes, blah, 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 but forgot the cake. So I had to take a Skinny Cow ice cream bar and stick 2 candles in it. So boom, in your face, we're not perfect parents.
Yeah.
And there's the proof.
Right. So, hey, thanks a lot for those reviews. We appreciate it.
Much appreciated.
And
I also wanted to say, we also appreciate the story ideas because today's episode is an idea from one of our listeners.
Yeah. Shall we get into it?
Very much appreciated. Yes, we should. And this story is the disappearance of Susan Powell. It sounds simple, but there's a lot of layers to this story. It's like a dirty, smelly, rotting onion. And as you peel away each layer, it only gets worse.
I don't think I like that.
So there's more to it than just the title.
Yeah.
So
I would imagine.
We'll get into this.
I would imagine there's at least a podcast worth of details.
Yes, lots of details, but I'm saying it's not just that. There's more devastation to it.
Okay.
So this story was a suggestion from one of our listeners. I'm having a really hard time here. My apologies. So our listener is Haylie, and Haylie, we so appreciate you and your suggestion. So on December 7th, 2009, it was a Monday, and when Josh Powell and his wife, Susan, didn't show up for work, coworkers began to worry. Their worry only grew when they also discovered that their sons, 4-year-old Charlie and 2-year-old Braden, hadn't been dropped off at daycare, as they always are. You know, if the family says they're going on vacation, it's all arranged. There's never those random days that the kids just don't get dropped off.
Right. You might hear from them later and say, oh, sorry, we're running late or whatever.
So I'm going to say next, police headed to the Powell house to start their investigation. So they started their investigation because the daycare couldn't get a hold of the parents. So they eventually called Josh's mom and sister. So they're like, hey, we can't get a hold of Josh and Susan, and the kids didn't get dropped off at school. So the sister's mind went straight to carbon monoxide poisoning.
Jeez.
She's like, what else could it be?
Did they live in a city or something? Or?
They lived in Utah.
Okay.
But no, they were in the suburbs, it looked like. Huh. And so they called the police. They let them know, hey, we're worried about carbon monoxide. So the police come to the house. They bust a window because at that point, it's an emergency if it's potentially they could save them.
Yeah.
So that's how they started the investigation. While the police were still at the house, Josh came home with the 2 kids, Charlie and Braden. But Susan was not with him. Where the hell is Susan? So he explained that he had taken the boys camping and that 28-year-old Susan had stayed home. And there's nothing weird, obviously, about father and son time in the great outdoors. But on further conversation, Josh explained that they had left to go camping in the middle of the night. And on top of that, it was the middle of a blizzard. So what was going on?
Yeah, something's up.
Something is up. So we're going to start at the beginning. So Susan Cox was born on October 16th, 1981 in New Mexico.
A couple years younger than us.
Yeah, 2 years younger than us. She was raised in how did I say that town in Washington?
Why don't you just try to say it, and I'll try to see if I can remember how she was saying it about 20 times before we get on the air.
It's
here.
like I have like a mini stroke when I go to pronounce Paliope.
No, that's not what you were saying.
What was I saying?
Paliope?
Can we pause this real quick? So we're going to get a little help from Google here. Puyallup. So
a little closer to the microphone if you could.
Puyallup.
Okay, that's perfect.
Yeah. I'm not good with this.
Wow, she sounded just like you.
I'm not good with this technology thing.
Okay.
Puyallup. So it's Puyallup, Washington. So at age 18, while she was studying cosmetology, she met Josh Powell. They were both devout members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and they were enrolled in Institute of Religion course.
That was going to be one of my questions. Anytime I hear anybody's from Utah, I wonder if they're Mormon. And
what percentage of Utah is Mormon?
That's a great question.
I don't know. So Josh was hosting a dinner for the course, and Susan was attending, and within days, Josh proposed.
Wow.
It sounds like they knew of each other, but didn't really know each other, so very, very quick.
Probably the same community, and got to know families or something.
But still, within days, he proposed.
That's pretty quick, yeah.
On April 6, 2001, the couple was married at the LDS Portland, Oregon temple 6 months after meeting. At the time, Susan was 18 and Josh was 25.
This sounds familiar for some reason.
I knew the case.
Okay.
I knew of the case. That's how shocking it all was. To me, it was the circumstances. This guy comes home and just says, "Oh, my wife's not here. I took the kids camping." It's like, what?
Yeah.
So,
just real quick, statewide, Mormons count for nearly 62% of Utah's 3.1 million residents.
Well, there you go. So more than half. So they were young when they got married, and at the time they did, the couple moved in with Josh's father, Stephen, in the South Hill area near that town in Washington, because I'm an idiot.
Well, I mean, yes, but that's okay.
Puyallup.
Yeah.
Puyallup. Look at me.
Nailed it.
So the living situation was very disturbing for Susan because Stephen frequently made inappropriate advances on her. He regularly stole her underwear and secretly filmed her until he ended up confessing his obsession to her in 2003.
Whoa, what a creep.
Yeah.
Huh.
So it was later discovered that Stephen started documenting his obsessions via journals. There ended up being 17 spiral-bound notebooks starting in January of 2003.
17 spiral-bound. So
17.
I'm picturing a 5-star notebook filled out completely. 17 of them.
17.
I don't know if I've ever written that many words in my life. That's a lot.
Pretty astounding.
Holy smokes.
So these journals prove that his obsession was far beyond just fantasy. The journals detailed that Stephen had gone through Susan's possessions. He had taken her underwear, so that's how we knew, for masturbatory purposes, stealing his daughter-in-law's underwear.
Yeah, that's gross.
And had even slid a mirror under her bathroom door so that he could try to watch her.
Oh my gosh.
He wrote, "I have never lusted for a woman as I have for Susan."
Ugh.
Stephen went as far as buying a new house in case Susan decided to leave his son Josh for him. There was a 31-year age difference between Stephen and Susan, and Stephen wondered if this was the factor that was keeping Susan from him. Not the fact that, she was married to his son,
Yeah.
but it was the 31-year age difference.
Well, no, that's all it could be.
And then he was clipping newspaper articles about how love can span through the decades or whatever, and that age,
leaving them for her.
Matter.
Or, did he show her or no?
No, this was all found later on.
Okay.
So I don't know that she saw these journals. In the journals, Stephen questioned his behavior and wondered if he was a sociopath. He says, I mean, who looks under a bathroom door with a mirror?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely creep material. And he's an older guy that's into this younger girl. It's not completely it's not like his daughter. So, that's good.
No, but you'll see he's absolutely disgusting human being.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter how he looks. Yeah.
No, I'm not. Okay. I'm not talking about his looks.
Okay,
I'm talking. You're going to find out how
worse.
just disgusting he is.
Okay. Well, so far I'm saying it's
beyond. I like that you're trying to side with him, but
no siding.
He stole his daughter-in-law's underwear.
Oh, you've never stolen my underwear and masturbated with it?
You're not my daughter-in-law.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're my husband. Okay. And no, I've never stolen your underwear and done those things.
That's 2 shows in a row. I hope your parents are listening.
Your nasty-ass boxers.
Yes.
With skid marks in them, probably. So the diaries included photos of Susan. They described how he secretly filmed her. The entries suddenly stopped shortly before Susan's disappearance, and the journals offered no clues as to what could have happened to her. In June of 2012, 62-year-old Stephen began serving a 2.5-year sentence for charges of child pornography and voyeurism. Stephen had secretly filmed young neighborhood girls from a bedroom window as they bathed and used the restroom. And I have more information on that later in the story, but this is the kind of guy we're dealing with.
Okay.
He's disgusting.
Hey, I try to come up with I look at both sides through an equal lens. So that's why I was saying things earlier. Not trying to defend anybody, but now he's officially off the list.
Both sides of this picture are bad. Okay. So he had initially been accused of acts of voyeurism against Susan, but then it says here it couldn't be proven that she was unaware of the filming. But it did say he documented in his journals that he secretly filmed her. So I don't know how that went down.
It's pretty damning.
I would say so.
I would imagine maybe Susan was like, okay, like dropping the charge. Who knows? I don't know.
No, Susan was missing
gone,
at this
right.
point.
Yeah.
So in 2004, Josh and Susan moved away from Stephen and headed to West Valley City, Utah. During the early years of their relationship, Susan was completely unaware of Josh's ability for his possessiveness, so he was a good actor. I was actually telling my coworkers about this case today, and they were like, how could he hide so well? And I said, some people can really hide their freak flag.
Yeah.
So he did. So after Susan's disappearance, Josh's ex-girlfriend, Catherine Everett, came forward to tell her story. Apparently, she's watching the news about the disappearance, and she's like, oh my gosh, I got away from this madman. So the two lived together in Seattle while Josh was attending the University of Washington. He was extremely controlling of Catherine. He wouldn't allow her to see her family unless he was with her. One of those controllers, the isolators. They don't want anyone to, be away from them.
If there's like two things I can't stand in a man, it's that obviously the sexual, assault and abduction and all that stuff, and then number two is the controlling thing. Especially we're so much stronger physically than women, and sometimes the guys that are just beating down their women mentally and socially and stuff that's just despicable.
Well, it just goes to show they're
small people.
I mean, thank you.
Yeah, mentally small.
She eventually got away and left while Josh was in class. She went to see a friend in Utah and broke up with Josh over the phone. So she left the Seattle area, escaped basically to Utah, and broke up with him from afar.
Yeah.
Susan,
and that's really the only way you can get away from those guys. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it'd be try to talk you into it and manipulative and being like, no, I'm going to change. And I'm sure they did that 25 times.
Probably. So Susan and Josh Powell appeared to be living a wholesome life. Susan worked full-time as a broker at Wells Fargo, and the family lived in, like I said, West Valley City, Utah. But at the time, Susan was very busy. She was distracted. She worked full-time as a broker while Josh was between jobs. It seems like he was often between jobs. She gave birth to Charles in 2005 and then Braden in 2007. The marriage began to show cracks as Josh's lavish spending became apparent.
Oh, good. Be between jobs and have some lavish spending. Good job, asshole.
And he sided with his father when the topic of Stephen's obsessions were discussed.
I mean, come on. Your wife has to be your number one thing in your life. Or just like wives, your husband has to be your number one thing. Above your children, above everything else. Not necessarily that you love them more or whatever. Just you have to put them first because that's what comes first. And if you're starting to take the side of your father who's looking up the skirt and stealing your wife's underwear, that's weird, man. Mm-hmm. It's disgusting. Very
disturbing relationship. So in 2007, Josh declared bankruptcy with more than $200,000 in debts. In 2008, Susan wrote a secret will that stated that Josh was threatening to leave the country and sue her if she divorced him. So he was definitely making threats.
Yeah.
When there was apparent cracks in the relationship and he worried she was going to flee. On Saturday, June 28th, 2008, Susan wrote a letter addressed to the family and friends, warning them of Josh. She also wrote that if she dies, and in quotes, it may not be an accident, even if it may look like one.
Wow,
right.
That sucks. Poor thing.
I know, poor girl.
She's probably dedicated to her husband and just knows, okay, we're going to try to work this out. And unfortunately, we know this is probably not going to go very well.
I honestly think it was probably more with the fact that she worried about what he was capable of doing if she did leave and protecting her children. Because, when you're a mom, the safety of your children is the most important thing.
Yeah.
So Susan wrote this letter and then kept it in a safe deposit box that only she had access to.
Well, then what good is it?
Well, I guess if something did happen to her, someone would get into it. Maybe she gave her mom a key. I don't know.
Yeah, got it.
The very next day, which was Tuesday, July 29th, 2008, Susan made a video recording of herself, and I actually watched it. She was documenting her family's assets in case anything happened to her or all of them. And it was just sad to watch. She was like such a sweet girl, and you could tell like she was a good mom because the kids are like running in the background in the film, and just your typical mom, like, oh, be careful of that. All right, I'm going over here. And
well, this person existed and was happy and had happy children, and it was a life.
Was their mother.
Yeah,
and,
part of this life.
You know, just basically saying, okay, we've got this. These are the earrings, and you know, just in case something happened to her. So it's like she anticipated this.
You just wonder what she was going through mentally. Poor thing.
And she basically said she was doing it in case anything happened to her or all of them. And less than 500 days later, she went missing. So her premonition was right.
That's a long time afterwards. So, I mean, she's been living with this for a long time.
She has.
And like even before that, you know, to get to the point where you're actually writing something down is probably years before that.
Of course. It's not like you just wake up one day feeling threatened, like, I'm going to put this letter in. I'm sure it'd been years of it.
Yeah, we've all been threatened a little bit.
So on December 6, 2009, Susan took Charlie and Braden to church. A neighbor dropped by in the afternoon, and this would be the last person outside the family to see Susan. She left about 5 p.m., the neighbor did, and Susan mentioned that she was going to lay down for a nap. At 2:29 p.m. earlier that day, Susan called her friend, and this was the last call she made or received on her cell phone. At 5 p.m., Josh said he was going to take the boys sledding, and at 8:30 p.m., a neighbor saw Josh come home and pull into the garage. At 11:45 p.m. that night, a neighbor heard a car alarm coming from inside their closed garage. They noticed that all the lights of the house were out. So those were basically the activities and goings on right before her disappearance.
Okay, all the clues we have.
So sometime between midnight and 12:30 a.m. in the early morning hours of Monday, December 7th, 2009, Josh said he left his home with 4-year-old Charlie and 2-year-old Braden to go camping at Simpson Springs Campground in a remote area of Utah's West Desert.
In a blizzard.
Yes.
Got it.
He claimed that at the time Susan was at home sleeping, and in my head I'm like, it's Sunday night, a work night at midnight. Who isn't sleeping?
Well, not work for him because he doesn't work.
He was working at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the drive to the campground would have taken close to 2 hours, meaning Josh and the boys would have arrived around 2:30 a.m., and the temperatures were well below freezing that night.
That just makes zero sense.
0 cents.
Yeah.
Like, it was mind-boggling, and that's why I remember this story.
Okay.
Because the circumstances.
You're like, none of it is like, you're like, no, I don't buy that at all.
You're looking at this guy saying this, and you're like, you're an effing liar.
Like, you couldn't come up with a better alibi?
Exactly. So between 9 and 10 a.m. that morning, Charlie and Braden's daycare contacted Josh's mom, Terica, and his sister, Jennifer Graves. And then this is where they discover something is amiss. So again, they were concerned that the boys hadn't been dropped off. They were unable to reach the parents. And that's where the police got involved because Josh's mom and sister were concerned about the carbon monoxide poisoning. And now we loop back to where we started. So when the West Valley Police Detective Ellis Maxwell arrived at the house at 10 a.m., he noticed 2 box fans were directed at a wet spot on the carpets. Josh later claimed that Susan had scrubbed a red stain from the carpet the previous day. I'm like, oh, red stain? What's
Red
wet
stain.
and red?
Wine.
Is it? Oh, maybe wine. Yeah,
sure.
Not blood.
Right.
So the police knew that Susan hadn't shown up for work and was reported missing. Susan's belongings, such as her purse, all of the things she would have taken had she left the house, were sitting right there. The other thing that I will mention, and I hate to repeat myself, is they only had one car. So if Josh had taken the van camping, Susan was left at home with no way of leaving unless somebody else picked her up.
Yeah.
So I do have that in my story later, so I hate to go back and repeat myself. But anyway, so there was no obvious disturbance or sign of forced entry or sign that something bad had happened to Susan at the house outside of Josh, is basically what I'm getting at here. So at 5 p.m. that evening, this is when Josh comes home with the 2 boys. He's greeted by the police who were still at the house figuring out what was going on. And Susan's cell phone was found in his car with her SIM card removed. Police also found a generator, blankets, a gas can, tarps, and a shovel in Josh's car. Josh had no explanation for why he had Susan's cell phone and why the SIM card was removed. And this was his MO throughout the whole thing. He had no idea. His not even interrogations, more like interviews. His interviews were positively maddening to watch.
Because you just know he's guilty the whole time.
And he's such a fucking asshole. And I will get more into that when I get to that point, but you wanted to like reach through the screen and punch him and donkey kick him right in the face. Yeah. That's my feeling anyway.
I'm picturing drowning.
Ugh. So Josh was immediately taken to the West Valley City Police Department and questioned. While questioned, police asked Josh why he hadn't answered his cell phone, and he explained that he was trying to conserve the battery since he didn't have a charger with him. At the time he was saying this, police noticed that his phone was actively plugged in to the charger on the center console of his car. Nothing this man says makes a lick of sense.
Well, the cops know they have their guy. I mean, cops that are worth any salt are like, okay, this is definitely the guy.
So here's the problem. Without a body, the Salt Lake County DA refused to file charges against any member of the Powell family in connection with Susan's disappearance.
Sure. I can see that. I mean, it's innocent until proven guilty just because all these things he says he doesn't know. Mm-hmm. Until he says, yes, I did it, then he's... You can arrest him. But.
So during the interview, they started out talking, and his main point of interest at the start of their talk was that the police had broken his window. And why did they break the window? Because his sister had a key to the house. It's like, dude, they thought you were dead with your family inside, and all your wife is gone. You're telling us you don't know where she is, and all you care about is a broken window.
Yeah.
And so he played dumb during the whole time. And it was almost like he was drugged or something. That's how disinterested he was. So the police officer would say, so Josh, when did you guys get married? And he'd make this like awkward pause where it's like you wondered, did he hear me? Is he going to answer?
You're like, do you hear me, buddy?
And then finally he'd like be like, well, I feel like it was 2000. But I don't know. And I know because I'm doing the research that it wasn't 2000. It was 2001 that they got married.
Yeah, you're not an outsider. Like, you were there, and this is a date you should know.
He knew nothing.
Like, are you okay? Yeah, you having a heart attack or a stroke?
You would have thought instead of them asking questions about his wife, that they were asking questions about the neighbor that lived like kitty corner around the block.
Yeah.
This was like not somebody he knew.
Right.
That was like his MO throughout this whole thing. And it was just so frustrating because you knew without a shred of a doubt that he did this.
Just got to get him.
Yeah. So then police speak with 4-year-old Charlie, who confirmed that they did go camping, though said that his mom went with them but didn't come back with them. However, there were cracks. He's a 4-year-old.
Yeah,
he's a baby.
Really, right. So
he said definite damning things, but then he would say something like, and we took an airplane there.
Yeah.
And they know that they didn't. Right. So you
like,
can't.
Well, how much can we put in
the
this?
Reliability wasn't there.
You're not going to have him on the witness stand.
No. And then a few weeks later, Charlie's teacher also came forward after Charlie told her that his mom was dead. Specifically, my mom is dead.
Well, that's interesting. And, who knows if that's something he heard or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Well, kids can, spin stories.
Right.
There was a story when I was in 3rd grade that there was a bat on the playground, and we're sitting at dinner, and my mom's asking, oh, what did everybody do? And my sister, who's like 5 years younger, was like, there was a bat at my school. And I was like, she's lying. And my mom's
school.
like, she's not lying. She's using her imagination.
You're like, well, technically she's lying.
So that's the point. He's a 4-year-old. They have big imaginations. They're also hearing the things that people are saying around them.
Right.
And taking pieces of those. So they really couldn't go with what he was saying. So Susan's parents, Chuck and Judy Cox, reported that while Charlie was at daycare, he also drew a picture of a van with 3 people inside. He told daycare workers, Mommy was in the trunk. So on Tuesday, December 8th, 2009 at 11 a.m., Josh called Susan's dad, Chuck, to tell him that Susan was missing. So it's like the next day. It's unbelievable. And police wanted to question him again. At 12:45, he was interviewed by the same detective that was at the house, Ellis Maxwell. And Josh was just like sniffling through the interview. This is where I was telling you about parts of the interview. His demeanor was actually hostile. Again, he was focused on that window, and the detective kept saying, like, buddy, we're just in here talking to you. We're trying to help you.
Yeah, what are you getting so worked up for?
We're trying to find your wife. And he kept saying, don't you want to find your wife?
Yeah.
It was very, very strange and bizarre. So he was also upset, and he continued to look at his hands throughout the interview. He's like, because you people are asking me what's wrong with my hands. I have cuts on my hands. And he was, of course they're looking at his hands. They could be defensive wounds. And he kept saying that it was from his dry skin and working. That's what he said. Mm-hmm. So towards the end of the interview, another detective entered the room and told him that a story just wasn't adding up. It was kind of like the good cop, bad cop.
Yeah.
And his rights were later read, and he was told he would be detained, though he was let go later in the day. And I will give you the spoiler that he was never, ever arrested in relation to Susan's disappearance.
What?
So, but there's a lot more to this story.
Holy smokes.
Like, we're only at the tip of the iceberg here.
Okay.
So police seized Powell's minivan, again, the only car that the family owned. And this prompted Josh to rent a car from the Salt Lake City International Airport. He drove 800 miles. He returned the car 2 days later. During his trip, he purchased a cell phone and activated it in Tremonton, Utah, near the Utah-Idaho border. So he's doing some very shady things here. On Wednesday, December 9th, police executed a search warrant for the Powell house. They removed boxes, bags, and a computer. Police found Susan's blood in the house on the carpet, as well as blood from an unknown male contributor. So her blood is there.
Okay.
I don't get this.
Well, her blood's there, but is it with his,
Oh, maybe he didn't bleed.
Right.
I mean, he had some scratches on his hands, but perhaps it didn't go to the carpet or anywhere else.
The unknown male contributor is weird. That's kind of a piece.
There's we'll get more into that.
I'm sure.
Yes. So then they also found life insurance policies for $1.5 million. They also found the letter from Susan in her safe deposit box.
No, good job, Susan.
Mm-hmm. And it basically said, I have been in extreme marital stress. And like we said, it didn't just happen. It was for 3 to 4 years at this point.
Poor thing.
She said, for mine and my children's safety, I feel that I need to have a paper trail. He has threatened to skip the country and told me that if we divorce, there will be lawyers. So he was throwing around a lot of threats, threatening to take the kids, blah, blah, blah. So, she was trying to cover herself.
She probably thinks he's capable of anything. So it's like, well, I've made my bed. I'm going to lie in it. And,
and really just protect my kids.
Right.
And police also discovered that Josh had liquidated Susan's IRA. The next day, police searched the campground where Josh reportedly camped, but there was absolutely no evidence that camping had been done there. So again,
where's the campfire? Where's the generator? The heat spot from the generator you put down.
And so in the midst of their searching, they were interrupted by yet again another snowstorm. So just kind of further solidifying the fact that there's no way he was out here camping.
Yeah,
at 2 a.m. with a 2 and a 4-year-old.
These are all good little clues, but it's not the big one, the smoking gun.
Yep.
You need the body. You need something.
Mm-hmm. So on Saturday the 12th, Susan's family and friends, including Josh, gathered outside the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They sang hymns, they prayed, they began a 24-hour fast in hopes of Susan's safe return. Josh was seen tearing up, though he didn't speak at the event. Chuck, Susan's dad, voiced his concern about the focus on his son-in-law. So at this point in time, they're trying to get their bearings. This is only days since their daughter disappeared.
Yeah, they're a community of God-fearing men and women and just trying to, come together. Be like, no, there's no way, the loving husband would do this.
Right.
At least that's what you want to think.
That's what you're hoping.
As a father.
Yeah. When a news reporter interviewed Josh and asked him why he hadn't called in to work on Monday, again, another video I watched where I wanted to donkey kick him in his ugly face. And that Susan was noted to be missing. He basically said, because they're like, Josh, you work. Why would you have taken the kids camping on a Sunday? He goes, well, I thought it was Saturday. And again, that pausing, drawn out, flats.
Did they say he was always like that, or was that definitely
I don't
different?
know what his personality was like before.
Probably not a lot of videos with him in a police station before he did this.
I would imagine he wasn't a very swell guy, hence Susan fearing her life.
Yeah, I'd say it's safe.
So the guy reiterated, he's like, so wait, when you left, you thought it was Saturday? He's like, yeah, I thought it was Saturday.
They're like, okay, there's nothing I can do with this.
And then nothing else. Yeah. That was it. And just this, his, Awful. So as the week went on and the police interviews with Josh continued, Josh hired a lawyer. Police publicly announced that Josh was a barrier to police efforts to find Susan. On Friday, December 18th, Josh and the boys headed to stay with his dad, Stephen, the lovely Stephen, in Washington for the holidays. And while there, they also held a vigil for Susan. After the new year, on January 6, 2010, Josh and his brother Michael made a 13-hour drive back to Utah to pack up the Powell house. And in the meantime, Josh was fired from his job. I guess he just probably left, didn't tell them anything.
Well, yeah, he just wanted to get paid as much as he could, and he already cashed out his dead wife's IRA, so he's got plenty of cash and life insurance probably coming to him.
So his plan was to rent out their own home and go back to stay with his family in Washington. Eventually, police got a warrant to search Josh's minivan, which was the car he drove the night Susan disappeared. I'm not entirely sure what they found in there in terms of if there was blood. We know they found the supplies and her phone and stuff like that, but I didn't read that they found blood in the car.
Must not have been enough.
By February, it was clear that Susan's family started to believe that Josh was guilty.
Okay.
So
how many months later is that?
So she disappeared in, where did the story? December.
Okay.
In December, and this is February.
Gotcha.
So they spoke with the public about Susan's eventual plans to leave Josh and the fact that he was controlling and had in the past been physically abusive. So now all of a sudden they're being vocal about their distrust of him.
Got it.
So when the Powell's neighbors distributed missing person flyers and placed ribbons around town in Susan's honor, Josh got mad and said they were upsetting the children. So had he actually been a concerned husband with a missing wife, he would have been going with the kids and passing out ribbons. Your mom, we're hoping she comes home. And it was the opposite reaction.
Yeah, I mean, these are little kids. They'll be fine with whatever you do.
And their mom existed.
Right.
She's not there.
Right. It's not like something you can sweep under the rug.
So at the 1-year anniversary of Susan's disappearance, Josh and his dad, Stephen, made the claim that Susan ran away with a man named Stephen Kocher, a man who went missing in Utah in December of 2009, right around the time that Susan did. The two claim that they likely ran off to Brazil, where Kocher served an LDS mission with the intent of starting a new life together. Not surprisingly, there was no evidence to back up these claims.
Right.
I mean, he's just grasping for straws here.
I'm surprised that even has any form of sense at this point.
And in 2011, Josh and Stephen announced that they were planning to post parts of Susan's teenage journals online.
Why?
Why?
That's so
this
weird.
was your wife who you had nothing to do with her disappearance. Why would you try to do that to her?
You're clearly trying to make her look bad.
Yeah.
That's odd.
And that same year, anti-harassment orders were drawn up between Josh and Susan's dad, Chuck. The two had an altercation at a Lowe's, and they were required to stay more than 500 feet apart from each other. So things are getting ugly between the two families.
Yeah, slowly but surely.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, they're seeing the truth.
Right.
So in August, police got a search warrant for Stephen Powell's house. This is Josh's dad. They seized his computers, boxes, and bags from the home on September 12th, 2011. Stephen was arrested at this point. This was the whole child pornography thing because they found the information within his things.
So why was he was being investigated prior or something?
No, they're on to Josh, and Josh is living with his dad.
Okay, so
they're basically taking the items from the home because they got a search warrant for his home. So they find that the contents of the computer or whatever it was, photos printed, showed child pornography and voyeurism. So this is what he was charged with.
So they got a bonus to get Stephen on this stuff.
Yeah, and that's where I was saying. So there's also other disturbing things they're finding on Josh's computer. They found like simulated child porn. So I guess he couldn't be charged with it because it wasn't real.
Oh, God.
What a freak.
And then you wonder like what else he got into with kids and stuff and his own kids and God forbid any kids. I mean, that's just disgusting.
And there was also content of bestiality, incest, just... Oof.
Yeah.
On September 23rd, the Cox family filed to get custody of Charlie and Braden, which you would anticipate that this was going this way. They want to get their grandchildren away from this guy.
Yeah, their dad was just found with fake child porn on his computer. How about getting his kids the hell out of his house?
Exactly. So a judge also temporarily ruled that Josh couldn't post Susan journals like he threatened to.
Okay.
It's like, no, you can't put your missing wife's teenage journals out for everybody to read. No, you cannot.
Right.
4 days later, the boys were temporarily placed with Susan's parents, Chuck and Judy Cox, after Washington's Division of Child and Family Services filed a child welfare action, and the Coxes began to pursue permanent custody of their grandsons. Days before the custody hearing, a website was created by Josh with the help of his family. It claimed that Chuck and Judy were abusive to the boys, but the website ended up being disabled.
Huh. I wonder who disabled it.
I don't know.
Interesting.
On February 1st, 2012, a Washington state judge ruled that 7-year-old Charlie and 5-year-old Braden would remain with Chuck and Judy due to the findings that Josh demonstrated narcissistic personality traits shown by his inability to admit any wrongdoings. It was also determined that his parenting skills were adequate, and he was holding a steady employment at the time. He had no criminal record prior to any of this, and because of this, the court-appointed examiner recommended that Josh be allowed supervised visits with his sons several times a week.
I mean, they always want to get the original parents back somehow, some way. We're seeing that, in around the neighborhood. There's certain parents that might not be super fit, but they want to get them with at least one of the parents, if they can in some way, somehow. So I can see, if he has a proper parenting, but still, I mean, the guy's got video game child porn on his computer.
So ultimately, they're going to be living with their grandparents, but they can see him with a person, with somebody supervising him 3 days a week.
I'd say it's acceptable.
Or several times a week, it said. So on Sunday, February 5th, 2012, a social worker, Elizabeth Griffin, arrived to Josh's trailer with Charlie and Braden for the supervised visits. So the kids basically, they're getting out of the car. The kids run ahead. Once inside, Josh slammed the door in Griffin's face and would not allow her into the house.
Good luck getting them back, asshole.
So this gets bad.
Oh, no.
Griffin immediately called 911, and as she tried to get inside, she's pounding on the doors and on the windows. She could hear the kids crying inside.
Oh, my God.
She smells gasoline.
Oh, no.
The smell was overwhelming to her. She moved her car from the driveway to across the street. That's how worried she was that there was a potential for an explosion.
Yeah.
So Griffin told the 911 operator what was happening and added, "He looked right at me and closed the door. I smell gasoline. He won't let me in." As Griffin was making this call, Josh began to strike his sons in the head and neck with a hatchet.
Holy shit.
Yes.
That is so bad. Oh my God. I was thinking that he just went a little nutso and closed the door on her.
Full fledged.
Oh my God. I feel so bad saying that. I could see him having them for one day.
Nope. He then doused their bodies in gasoline and set his rented house on fire, causing an explosion. It was determined that the boys were still alive when the fire started and that their actual cause of death was carbon monoxide. Oh. 5-gallon cases of gasoline ended up being found on the premises, as well as signs that the gas had been poured throughout the house. So he had this all planned out. Before the explosion, Josh sent his attorney a single-line email, "I'm sorry, goodbye." When Stephen, Josh's dad, was notified about the deaths while he was in jail, he appeared unconcerned and actually became angry that he was notified.
This is exactly what Josh did when they were questioning him about his wife.
It was bizarre.
I mean, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. He had another son, right?
He did, and a daughter.
And I mean, you got to watch out. I mean,
wait, we'll go more into that.
Oh, great.
And then about 5 months later, on July 3rd, 2012, a mine explorer found that a mine located 30 miles west of where Josh said he was camping had been filled with gas and burned.
Okay.
So this is very possible that Josh had put Susan's body here and went back and burned it in the mine.
Yeah.
This was a week after the court documents indicated that Josh told a woman at a work party that the best place to dispose of a body is down a mine shaft.
Why are these idiots? This is second or third time we've heard something like this, where the idiot that murdered the person tells somebody exactly how they did it.
Exactly. Around this time, emails from Susan to her friends were released. Like the content of these emails was saying, he is usually rude. He's yelling and barking commands at me. She wrote of wanting to see a marriage counselor, though Josh wanted no part of it. Every moment I step back and take stock of what I'm dealing with, it feels like a never-ending cycle. But I'm too afraid of the consequences, losing my kids, him kidnapping me, divorce, or actions even worse on his part. Oh. So she had premonitions that this was all possible.
And here we are. Like a narcissist can't admit that they're wrong. So, they're less likely to probably seek help because they don't think they're doing anything wrong.
Mm-mm. In October of 2012, a 13-page report from Washington State was released addressing the question of if the murder-suicide could have been prevented. The West Valley City maintained that there were no indications that Josh would murder his 2 sons.
Besides murdering his own wife.
Right.
Even though that wasn't proven.
I guess they couldn't prove it. So what do they say? You're innocent until you're proven guilty. He was never proven guilty.
Because 99% of the time, it's usually, okay. And this is the 1% or less. And unfortunately, even it happening once is horrific.
Horrific. On Monday, February 11th, 2013, Michael Powell, who is Josh's brother, who many believed helped Josh with Susan's disappearance, killed himself by jumping off a parking garage in Minneapolis. Now, remember they found blood from an unknown person?
Yeah.
This could be Michael.
Okay.
Perhaps Susan got her claws into him and he bled.
Right.
So whether or not I don't believe they ever tested Michael.
Well, one of my questions was going to be, does Michael believe his brother? Because you said that he helped him move and all that stuff. And
well, odds are Michael was there.
Right. Now it's pretty obvious that, and
why would he have committed suicide?
This family is fucked.
Effed up.
It's like, kill the lineage. Like I'm
well,
apologize.
There's still a sister out there.
I mean, not that, okay. And I'm
not saying she's done anything.
No, but it's like you got to look at yourself and be like, it kind of like when somebody says, I've had alcoholism in my family my whole life. I'm not going to drink a drop of alcohol. You know that it's in your system somewhere. You could become an addict or something. Like these people in this lineage need to know about the mental health of the past. That's dangerous.
So, during previous police interviews, it was discovered that Michael had abandoned a Ford car at an Oregon wrecking yard. When the vehicle was found, it was determined that human remains at one point were in that car.
Wow.
So it
remains. So somebody that was dead was in that car. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. That's interesting.
On July 13th, 2015, Stephen Powell was found guilty of possessing child pornography because of his images. So this is his dad.
Yeah.
Because of the images on his computer of the 2 neighborhood girls, ages 8 and 10, that he had taken from a bedroom window.
You hope that it's at least 16, 17 or something like that. It's just that mentally it feels a little bit like a little okay. Like not okay, but like less absolutely terrible. But that young is just... It's
disgusting. So I was confused at this point because I was like, 2015, they took the computers years before this. So during the initial trial, so this is all came to light for me then. During the initial trial in 2012, he had been convicted on 14 counts of voyeurism, though the child porn charges had been thrown out by a superior court judge.
What the hell is that all about?
Yes, thank you. And were reinstated by an appeals court. So on August 21st, 2015, Stephen was sentenced to 5 years in prison and given credit for the 17 months that he already had served back in 2012.
Yeah.
He was released in 2017 and died in 2018 of reported natural causes.
Good. Perfect.
Good riddance, Stephen.
Yes, the world is much better off without that piece of shit.
In October of 2015, a federal judge in Washington state dismissed a lawsuit filed by Chuck and Judy Cox, Susan's parents, who had custody of the boys when all of this happened.
They did everything right.
Were
everything in their power.
They were safe with their grandparents.
God.
So they were claiming that social workers didn't do enough to protect Charlie and Braden. In July of 2020, 5 years later, basically, Washington state awarded Susan's parents $98 million for negligence.
I mean, shove it up your ass, basically.
Too little, too late.
Yeah.
That $98 million will never bring their precious grandsons back to life.
Right. And did they settle or did they actually just award them? Like, I don't know.
I don't know.
Because, like, to the grandparents, it doesn't matter. They're older, and it's like,
what is the money?
Right. I mean,
they're devastated.
I
They've
can't wait
lost
to
their
have-
daughter,
Right.
their two grandsons.
I can't wait to have grandkids, and our kids are only like 14 and 10.
Yeah,
So,
not even 14 yet. He's still 13.
in a couple hours, he'll be 14. So I just can't imagine how that would feel for grandparents that they did everything right. They had their grandkids there. They had them away from danger. And the state said no. The state tried to keep the parent in the life, and they were trying to do the right thing. They were all trying to do the right thing.
And it was supervised.
Yeah, exactly. They did it supervised. Like, if you could say, you can blame the state if it's like, no, they decided, no supervision. But it was like there was a person behind them.
And they literally probably walked in the house a step ahead of the woman, and he looked her square in the eye and slammed the door right in her face.
And not to mention, he could probably just throw her out if he wanted to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, physically push her out the door.
Like, what are we going to do? Start sending cops in with like...
That's the thing. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't that way. It was just a social worker.
Because it happens all over the U.S. I mean, everywhere.
Right. So it's just, the story just went from bad to worse.
Absolutely.
Basically. So it was a very interesting one. And Haylie, we do appreciate you again, giving us the idea to share this story.
Did they find Susan's remains anywhere?
Never.
And they looked in the mine and everything?
Yeah, I guess maybe the fire was just so bad that they never could recover it.
Like, no human remains or anything? Or
They never confirmed to find her body to this day. And that was in 2009.
Yeah. And so Stephen, the dad, is dead. Obviously, Josh is dead. Michael
is
killed
dead.
himself?
He jumped from a parking garage in Minneapolis.
Okay. And the sister, no idea what's
No
going on with
idea.
her. Okay.
There was some talk about her, and but
people are trying to put things together, and you don't know how much to put into it.
Yeah.
I respect you for not bringing that up. So no, nobody wants to go on a wild witch hunt or something.
No, I'm not on a witch hunt for anybody.
I mean, everybody should be a nice person. Yeah, it was terrible. That fire was just like, how could you do that to your own kids?
And the fact that he just started hacking at them with a hatchet.
Okay. I think we've had enough. We don't have.
I mean, I'm
no,
just
you're saying the
amazed
facts.
at how horrific this person could be.
Yeah. I'm trying to block it out.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you all for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening.
And to our Patreons.
Yep, want to give a special shout out. Patrons. I'll take care of the talking from here on out.
I'm just going to be quiet now.
We want to thank Colleen, Lily, Karen, Nadine, Allie, Michael, Dominic, Brian, Shannon, Elizabeth, Mandy, Alana, Vivian, and Trisha. We've got we're increasing, and we really appreciate it. And you know why? Because each one of these people get bonus episodes.
Bonus.
Yeah, we come up with bonus episodes every 2 weeks. So go check out the Patreon page. It's in the show notes, and you can see what the levels are, and if you get a couple or 2 or 3 a month or whatever. So yeah, new bonus episode every other week, and we'd appreciate you having on. We can get more stuff and upgrade our materials and all that. We've had some ringing in my ear the entire time.
Yeah, we're trying to get this thing started, and our headphones are buzzing. I'm like, what the hell is going on in this house?
I think our headphones are like $6 on special from Amazon.
We're holding our microphones because we don't have a microphone holder.
Well, the one I bought from Amazon was like $6 and it fell apart. Imagine
Living
that.
in the depths of hell in this place.
But hey, we've got the listeners.
This is what happens when Mike Pernecki's leading the ship.
And did we mention that Patreon people are especially beautiful people?
They are.
Inside and out.
Especially.
And if you're a patron, you will notice that we really give you a lot of compliments.
We do.
Yeah, we do. It's
I mean,
nice.
we love you all. And
Yeah.
you're all good looking.
Absolutely.
And wonderful. Because really, outside looks, it's more about what's on the inside, right?
Thank God, for me at least, because I have no chance on the outside. So, I mean, receding hairline, I'm morbidly obese. It's all over.
You're not morbidly obese.
No, just obese.
Just obese.
Yeah. So, hey, thanks a lot for listening. We appreciate it. And until next time.
Bye.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.